Now, Hurricane Dorian had the perfect weather setup to become a destructive storm, but not all tropical systems have the same combination of ingredients. Meteorologist Andrew Wilson expands our weather minds about weather patterns that can be a killer to hurricanes.
This time of the year, water temperatures are plenty warm for tropical development, but dry air can limit or stifle tropical storms and hurricanes, even if the water is plenty warm for development. Dry air, especially in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, can be a tropical cyclone killer. Tropical cyclones do better in environments where the atmosphere is full of moisture. When the tropical system draws in dry air, it causes evaporative cooling, and that can lead to a downward motion within the storm. This dry air intrusion snuffs out new thunderstorms near the central core, and that is needed for a healthy tropical system. This makes dry air kryptonite to a hurricane.